welcome. You might be wondering, are you actually here? Because no one's talking. Just hear Nick clicking. In town, I'm sure everyone's buzzing. They've been waiting to hear my voice. And here I am. Welcome to my episode where I'm going to ask Nick and Anne all the questions.
Before we go ahead, hang on a second. If you're listening to this now, pause it and put a freaking review down.
I'm sure they'll fucking steam to that review.
Missing week. Put a review, and a good review. All right. Continue.
Okay. Do we want to go straight into questions, or do you want to chat about what's going on in our world? Yeah. 2 different answers there.
Well then.
Let's go on then. And what have you got
in
on?
Life or
what's
in
going on in your world? Oh, we'll stick to business. We ain't got time for life.
Working with the 20 people that are in the Business Accelerator. Helping them lot. They're flying through. They've done a week of niche, a week of offer, and now they're on to building their marketing campaign whilst creating awareness of their offer. So that's been really good. I obviously have still been supporting the coaches in the PT Business Transformation and one-to-one, who have had ups and downs, as you would do at this time of year. The ones that have had downs, probably the wrong thing to say, but you know what I mean. More so just the challenges that they've faced is probably that they ended the year as a busy fool, so therefore it set them back probably in the first month. So that was a trend, but more good than bad. And listen, them challenges are good. But in general, working with them, working with the Business Accelerator a lot, starting to plan the event, have to pull my finger out for Performex. I'm sure there's more, but it's not going to be a competition of who's the busiest, but I'm sure Nick will take it there soon. Where you go, Nick?
You're saying it's reality, isn't it, Anthony? Right.
You've gone really quiet now.
What?
You've gone from like hearing every click of your mouse and every move to quiet. But go on, Nick. Fill the fans in. Fill me mum in. That sounded terrible.
That's wrong.
You did not hear that before it came out of your mouth.
What's going on? Next week we have some more live events, haven't we? We have a live event, which is the retention reset. So now, we obviously did a bit of a marketing one last month, and this month is very focused around what you need to understand from a coaching point of view to pick up disengagement and lack of adherence early, and then be able to prevent that with new clients going forward, and what to do with current clients that are starting to disengage. So very much around retention and a bit of a reset from that point of view. So that's next week. And then we have Performex the week after. And we have the Connected Coach starting the week after that. So busy.
Lots on.
Collectively busy, Anthony. Not singling people out. All right? We're collectively busy. Go on, Sky.
Sky, what have you been doing? Because you've not even been here last week or the week before.
Exactly. Been on holiday and then I've been ill, so I've got nothing to report, nothing to add. So let's get into the questions. The first question: how to convert people from a free trial to a paid trial?
How to convert people from a free trial to a paid. So the free trial should be, or the front end offer, or the lead magnet should be getting people over the first hurdle, right? The first barrier they're experiencing now in relation to what they want to achieve overall, right? To help them gain another step on the ladder of, yeah, I can do this, more belief, more motivation, more momentum. And essentially the conversion comes off what are the next steps after that, right? Because that should be them experiencing you as a person, as a coach, not just about knowledge and information and structure, but it should be very much about brought into you. So in my opinion, a lot of the time, those should be set up prior to the trial or the front end offer or whatnot, what's going to happen afterwards. So it's very much about what the next steps are. It's not, in my opinion, and this depends it depends massively actually on the actual next step for them. But knowing this person, it's probably more of a one-to-one basis, more of an in-depth coaching experience. So very much would be about that next step call. So yeah, very simple. If the front end offer and the trial has been communicated effectively and people have come in and got a good good level of experience with you. So yeah. Anything else you would add? Excellent, bloody excellent, that is.
Good question.
What is the one thing you want anyone starting out working with you to know? Sky, yeah.
Well, not you. You're not into
Working with us in the PTMA.
All right, you're working for us here now.
On your time, not on my time. I think the best way to describe, I guess, what to expect if anyone wants to or is coming to work with us is that it's very much done with you, not done for you. And other mentorships, it seems like it's done for you. And as we know with clients, when we tell clients what to do and we prescribe and we dictate and we don't challenge or build out together, it doesn't work long term. You essentially want to come to the PTMA, or you want to leave the PTMA with total clarity over what you offer, who it's for, what is the process in letting people know about what you do, figuring out who's right to work with you, how do you give them an insight into what that would look like, and then nurture them along to finally coming into your business. I had a conversation with one of the coaches yesterday who actually said this question, when would I know it's time to leave? When I'm in a really good spot financially with my business, I'm really happy, I'm content. And I said, if you lost 80% of your business tomorrow and you are confident that you would know the process, the marketing, the steps, the lead magnets, the front end offers, all of that to fill your diary back up, that's probably when you're in a good position to leave a mentorship. If you don't know that, if you don't have clarity over how you would bring people in, what you do, what you offer, who it's for, then that's what we help people do. So I think, what I said at first is probably it. It's done with you, not for you. What would you add?
I would add, regardless of any level of doubt or fear, I think you have to go all in to the action that you need to take instead of just try to dip your toes in. I think that can go from backing yourself with your goals and your plans, backing yourself with your niche, backing yourself with your offer, and going all in on that and giving it your best efforts, because ultimately there'll be parts of that will fail because it's supposed to. There's parts of it that will be a struggle and a challenge, and you want all of that, because it sounds like a cliche, but that's where lessons will be learned, and you need to go and find them as fast as possible. And I feel if I look at the track record of what I would like people to know to get the most out of it, I'll change the question slightly, is the ones that have just come in and took a relentless level of action, regardless of fear, regardless of anything in the way. And actually the ones that are up against it more so from a personal perspective have gone on to fly because they've gone and jumped all in. Those that probably just dip their toes in or see a bit of success and then back off and all of that can be very up and down. So I think if I would like to set the expectations is that if you're going to back yourself financially by coming into us, then you've got to back yourself in the level of action that you take regardless of the initial result or not. Because those who just dip the toes in a lot of the time don't really get the return that they want as quick as they want, and it normally takes a bit of nudging from us, which we don't mind doing, but we don't want to do. Next question. Is it my question?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite holiday destination, is it? Favorite holiday location? Country, Nick. Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't know because he hasn't been on a holiday for 17 years.
It doesn't say that, just educated because we've been around the world.
If I could go anywhere tomorrow, anywhere, I would go back to Hawaii.
Back to now.
It's like a...
What about Hawaii
It's got a mix of everything. So it's got the rainforest feel of like a jungle. They've got mountains, volcanoes. It's got the beach, and it's got the history and culture as well. So it's literally got kind of everything. It's got like the history of Europe, but then the fun of like the Caribbean, and then like the adventure of like, it's got volcanoes, and it's got, do you know what I mean? And there's different islands, got different characters, and it's a wicked place.
Sick that. Get on my bucket list. Got not allocated. Got on signs of burnout and.
There's one.
No, that's a sign. Can't think straight. Right. Sign of burnout is probably struggling to sleep, absolutely knackered, drained, and feel worn out, but probably struggling to sleep. Also probably feeling like the daily tasks that usually feel something that you enjoy and that you probably don't struggle to have the energy for, you're probably starting to struggle with that type of stuff. I also think that maybe it's really tough, this, because I'm trying to fight bias like you wouldn't believe, in regards to, before even considering this, I would consider, are you having consistent sleep times? Are you consistently putting the right level of calories in your body? Are you consistently giving your time to shut away from the business and all of that? And I think if them three things are adapted, most coaches don't run a business busy enough to be burnt out. So I have this bias pulling me on this side. But I would say that, like, whenever I've gone through it, you become probably highly stressed, but don't have the energy to address the things that you're stressed about. You feel knackered all of the time, but you struggle to sleep because of all of this going around in your head, and also it just disrupts your sleep. You probably start to lose I remember going through it and thinking that I lost my appetite. I was like, I couldn't be asked to eat. I felt even too drained at points to eat. So I think it's very individual. So I've just generalized massively my experience there. But if you're sitting there going, am I burnt out, or am I going through this? I would be probably looking at, how can I look at the habits and behaviors that I would probably advise a client to have? Have I got all of them in place? Consistent sleep times. Am I getting enough fuel in my body from a performance perspective? And when I'm saying performance, I'm not just talking about your training. I'm not talking about you walking or anything like that. You're running. I'm talking about like energy for performance in work. Am I getting decent recovery times? I'd question yourself on all of that and try and address them things first, because from my experience of working hundreds of thousands of coaches, it's not probably burnt out. You've just been extremely busy and therefore underfueled and under-recovered. So that's what I would say. Anything you would add to that? Superb.
No.
Superb, Anne. Superb. Superb. Next question.
How is everyone feeling about Valentine's Day?
It's just a hindrance, isn't it? It's just something that gets put on the to-do list that just adds something in your week that you just don't need.
Oh God, funny. I like that people still look forward to it somewhat, though. It's cute. I feel like people who are single have more of an awareness of Valentine's Day than people in relationships. It's 2 days before Rick's birthday, so I never think about that. I'm always thinking about his birthday. I mean, Rick doesn't even really do birthdays, so I'm not going to get anything for Valentine's Day. But yeah, it's another money maker, isn't it?
If you do, like, you stress yourself out about sorting something out, and then if you don't, you're a cunt. Do you know what I mean? So you can't win either way. You know what I'm saying? It's unreal, isn't it? That's how I'm feeling. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? I used to make a massive fuss as well as Lexi, where she's grown up like every year, and you know, she gets to 15 now, and I look at her, I'm like, you're adding that to my to-do list now. You don't even ask, do you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, right, next question. How do you think is best to structure a pay increase to existing clients? How much notice? How this should be worded, etc. I've never put my original online client's price up, but now the price difference is massive from new to old. Should they be brought up to the same price, or given a loyalty price a fraction below the new price? Nick, questions here.
Structure-wise, I would say, timeline-wise, I would say, bare minimum 2 payment cycles in front. So that could be within 30 days, but I'd probably give at least 60 days, give, if you can. This is very dependent on how well you know your clients and what they'll react to. Feel that if you're putting in your pricing for new clients, then your old clients should be put at that price point eventually. Whether you do that in stages, depending on what that increase is, you might go in phases for that. Maybe 10 or 20% 50% of like the price increase difference at one shot, and then go again, 3 to 6 months down the line. Obviously, it completely depends on like how much that goes up by. I think genuinely, the open and honest communication of why you're doing it is the best strategy to go forward with. I think if you try and justify and try and overcomplicate and throw random pieces of value add or extra things in there that don't mean anything to your clients, then it will just come across that way. So where I would start with this is absolutely some critical feedback. I think is really important, so that if people are asking for certain things or they want certain improvements, or you can add that into the fold when you do increase. And also, I think there's always a shout to have different levels of service to fall back on for those clients that maybe want to stay at the price point, receive what they're getting now, and don't want any more support from you. I think that's probably a shout as well. So where I would start is survey and get some critical feedback with your clients, get a milestone and a date booked in, and then work backwards from there from the communication standpoint. And then I think treat each individual client as such. You might take a few different strategies towards them, but generally, unless you're going up like 50 to 100% more, generally clients are usually waiting for it, and usually they'll give you the feedback in it's taking the time to do that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the process I'd go through. Yeah. Anything? Excellent. Right, next question. Favorite workout, Sky? Do you?
I like 12 Days of Christmas. Yeah. It's more the vibes. It's like, it's not serious. There's no RX, there's no prescription. Everyone in our gym wears fancy dress. I think I just like the vibes of that workout. But I always look forward to that. And I never look forward to workouts that are like an hour long or 45 minutes long. I always think, oh, fuck's sake. But that one, I'm like, yes, we're all going to dress up like fucking Christmas turkeys and elves and just piss about for an hour. So, yeah, I like that workout. I don't do workouts regularly enough to have like favourites. Quite like Diane, deadlifts and handstand push-ups. But other than that, what's yours? Murph. I fucking hate Murph. I don't go to the gym on Murph Day. I don't. They used to do it every bank holiday and they've changed it now. I just don't go. Sorry. I'm not hardcore.
Well, like some to you, I don't do the same
What's
one
yours, Ant?
often enough to be able to go, that's my favourite. I think the one that stands out, and this probably more so reminds me through COVID, is it PT? Yeah. I enjoy that. Like, that's one workout that I repeatedly did throughout COVID, downstairs in the gym. And I enjoyed that, to be fair.
If you were going to just like randomly throw together a workout, what would it have in it? Like, for me, it's probably going to be ergs and some sort of dumbbell. Probably lunges as well.
Definitely not running. There's some element of clean and press or deadlift, but not mega heavy. Yeah, something like that.
Next.
I might do that tomorrow.
Giving him an idea.
I don't know.
Is it my question? How do you know when you've reached capacity with clients, as in number of clients in person or online?
I'll take it.
Who just answered the last one? Was it you, Nick?
Last week, and it got some decent interactions on it because of my opinion on it. Okay, so how will you know is probably very similar to, not similar to the burnout question, but there is a little bit of crossover. I think personally it's, there's so much nuance in this. Like, it's difficult to say this is how you would know. But I'll tell you when I knew I was like, I'm through and I need to get rid of some clients or I need to change something, was when I started missing things, right? So I'd miss certain things with clients that I would have never missed before. And that might be, I don't know. To give you an example of that, it might be that they've not done a check-in for 2 or 3 weeks and I've not even fucking noticed. I might miss in terms of like they're having a big life event or career change and I've missed even talking about it, and they've brought it up a couple of times and I felt like a right twat that I've missed it and not engaged in that and kind of had a conversation about it. So I think a big thing for me is missing things. I also think that extends to missing processes on the business because you're so focused in it. So that might be that actually these elements of programming changes that I've missed or just ignored or neglected. So the big thing for me is you start to slip and miss things. Now, Where the nuance is with that is, from what I've seen, is I've gone through that and then gone, well, wait a minute. How can you expect to work with more people and not have more time on the business to deal with it? So if I look at my schedule, can I put more time on the business to deal with it? Yeah. Okay. Has that addressed it? Yeah. Cool. But am I willing to do work more? So that comes down to you. But I think the biggest one for me is where you start slipping and missing things, where you probably wouldn't be happy with that level of standard from yourself. But I think that that's one of the biggest signs. Yeah, I'll pass it round, actually. Go on, Nick. Anything you would say on that?
I would say that's a big one. I would also say, but then the big caveat to that is, then the questions you'll ask yourself or should ask yourself is based on capacity. Am I doing everything? Is everything? How much is manual, right? Of all of that, and how much is that done through also scarcity? I.e., I feel like I've got to be on my clients all the time in case they. Do you know what I mean? So there's loads of different nuances on that. Like, I don't believe everybody that should be the case. I don't think you should have to be on top of your clients every single day. I don't feel that. I feel that you should be looking at where you're most impactful in the business, i.e. coaching, i.e. creating structure. I think, again, if you are being dictated in regards to your schedule by clients, that can create massive capacity issues from a point of view. If I'm doing like 2-3 days and I'm in the gym from my first one's at 6 and my last one's at 8 and I've got loads of time in between, but I'm not going home and blah, blah, blah. It can feel like capacity, but actually it's just poor operational standards and also not creating boundaries. So there's a ton of nuances there, I think. But also as well, the question of, well, if I'm at this point now, like Ant said there, and my financial goals and my freedom goals are way past where I'm currently at, then are you at capacity, or is the capacity just dictated by the structure of your business currently? Probably. So there's a ton of nuances there, I think.
Right, Sky, anything you'd add to that one?
No, when you were talking, I was thinking about, like, when have I been at the point when I've known I had to pull back? A couple of years ago, I was, just before I started working with you guys, actually, I had that experience, and it was literally because I was missing things. And I ended up having a client leave because she said she'd mentioned something in a text that she'd sent to me and I hadn't acknowledged it. And that was like a massive kind of wake up call for me. Like, how have I missed that in a message? How have I not remembered that or seen that? Or, if I was her, I'd be really upset and really hurt that my coach hasn't acknowledged something quite like serious or difficult that I mentioned in a message. So that was a bit of a wake up call, exactly like you said. When you're missing things and you're not delivering the service that you want or you want to be known for, then you have to look at either, am I not managing my time properly so I am missing things, or is my schedule just fucking ridiculous and I need to pull back? And that was me. My schedule was just ridiculous and I needed to pull back.
I think
yeah, I agree
a good thing
with all that.
for you to do, anyone listening to this, when you're looking at capacity and questioning how many clients that I should have that meets capacity and I'm not too sure. Clearly, you've got to go through it first, but a good thing for you to do is probably sit down and go, what are the standards that I expect from myself in regards to from a coaching perspective? And then how frequent do I need to meet them standards? And if I start to slip, that's probably saying that, it could be obviously behavior or habit that it's slipping because, I don't know, personal life is taking over and all of that. And that's a balance that you need to sort. But if it's starting to slip because you've got too many clients, then you know what to change. You've probably got too many. So if you sit there and go, these are the standards I expect of myself, and I start to slip, no, you probably need to kind of pull back how many clients you've got. Next question. I don't even know where we're up to now.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to take part in the Winter Olympics, which sport would you be competing in and why, Sky?
I tell you what, I fucking wouldn't. Curling. How shit is curling? We were watching it last night. Oh, it's so shit. I can't understand why people, and they shout, curl, curl, curl. I fucking hate it. Anyway, so I won't be doing that. I probably would. The biathlon's quite interesting. When we were in France the other week, at the end of the day, we came down. me and my dad were walking back to the car, and they'd set up like a mini biathlon tent, but with a ski erg. So they had a ski erg and then a little target. And my dad had had a few wines by this point, so my dad signed Rick up. He was like, he'll do it. And Rick, to be fair, as soon as I told him about it, it was like, I'm game. It was so funny. They had like a spray cleaner bottle full of this like French alcohol. So every time the guy turned his back, my dad was spraying himself in the mouth with this alcohol. But it was fucking nuts. They were like having a shot of this booze. Then they had to ski erg 100 metres as fast as possible, shoot the target 5 times, and then ski. And I didn't know what the fuck biathlon was. And Rick won it, actually. It was like tourists versus this wine company. So we were watching it last night, and it's pretty fucking cool, to be fair. You just ski massive loops and then shoot a target. I don't know, it's so random, so I'll do that one.
I haven't watched enough of it.
It's mad.
No, but
what would you do?
I haven't even ever been skiing or snowboarding, so I'm not too sure. Snowboarding looks cool, so I'd have a go at that probably.
Yeah, just the speeds that they go at is fucking terrifying. Like, I was watching the ski slalom, 120 kilometres an hour. That's fucking
one of the British
going down that mountain.
ACL and then
it's horrendous.
All right, okay.
USA, yeah, tore ACL. Oh, did you hear about the people that do the ski jumping? There's a rule around like how much room you can have in your suit, because obviously it's like a parachute. If there's loose clothing, it gives you more lift. So one of the guys has apparently they're having their time. They don't know if they've won yet, because there's rumours that they've been injecting their dicks with liquid to make their dicks bigger, so there's more space in the suit, and it's given them like, I don't know, 50 meters more lift or something. Like, honestly, look it up. It's batshit. That's in the ski jump where they're just like going as far as they can. So, I mean, would you risk your dick for a gold medal? Your dick wasn't this big when we fitted you for this suit.
That is mental.
Can't wait to see the show.
It's crazy. Go on, Nick, what would you do? Would you be injecting your dick?
Oh, that's a belter, actually. I'll give you that. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's a good one.
Got it in it.
Yeah, that's a belter. We'd make a good bobsleigh team. Put me at the front. Right, next question. Nick, what's the most effective way to identify and describe my niche?
Effective way to identify and describe my niche. I always feel like it starts with, to make it easy, the current problems, the overall outcome they want, right, specifically, and their problems they're experiencing, whether it's been in the past or present, when trying to achieve that goal. But then also, that's like I would say the kind of headlines. Then I also feel that the way that you articulate things, what's important to you, what you value, is a massive part of that. So effectively showing up and articulating that, your views, your opinions, is an effective way to identify your niche, because people are going to connect with you purely by your views and what you stand for and your values. But I think having that kind of objective of what's the outcome people want, what's the ultimate outcome people want, and what's stopping them now, what problems and challenges stopping them now, and they're experiencing or have experienced in the past, I think is a way that you can mesh those two things together. And if doesn't have to be, if you have experienced that yourself, then that comes from a point of first-hand experience where you can tell that story. If you've got second-hand experience, i.e. working with someone, close family member, friend, then again, you can tell that story from a different point of view. So that's how I would identify and describe my niche. Anything you'd add?
Next question.
I think so. It's a fucking brilliant answer.
Study up.
Next one. Third space / David Lloyd, where there's no rent, but they take a cut from your earnings, versus PureGym gym group, where there's no cut, but you pay rent. It's dependent on situations, but what would you say is better to grow a business? Guy ask you iffy, Hilly.
This is person dependent, but I'm just going to give my opinion. I think the rent model is a better model for growing your business, because you are in charge of who you work with, what service you provide, what you charge. you know, you can change that over time. You can put trials on. You have so much more control. With the kind of third space David Lloyd model, I think it feels safe because you're almost fed these clients because the gym are making money through you. I worked at Virgin Active for a bit and I was in charge of the kind of targets for all of our PTs. And it's really hard to mentor someone that isn't really working with an ideal client. They're just working with members in a gym that they maybe don't connect with, maybe isn't really within the kind of like niche, like we've said, that you want to work with. It's hard to then motivate them to show up as their kind of best selves when you're essentially utilizing them to make money. It just, I don't feel like it's a great model for growing a business. It might be a great model for starting out and getting experience and having a bit of a safety net of this gym's going to feed you clients and you just turn up and train them and you get a cut. But yeah, for growing a business, like if you think about what a business is, you're fully in control of what you do, how you do it, when you do it, what you charge. It's definitely going to be the rent model. Would you dis or
I would agree.
Nick?
I think David Lloyd Third Space serves a purpose. And I think it is a modern day fitness instructor role, right? Third Space and David Lloyd, your earning is capped, right? But your earning is also pressured because you still have targets to hit. And there will come a point where you are going to want to make decisions for yourself and the way that you want to do things, who you want to work with, and what you want to charge. That model is not built for that. That model is built to make money from personal trainers for the business. And that's about as simple as it gets. So it's right for some people to grow a business. You're not running your business in there. You're delivering sessions for a gym and taking a cut. Yeah, I'd 100% agree on that.
Yeah. Okay, next question. How do you go about getting the best testimonials or getting the most out of them? I generally send some example questions for people to answer and an example to go off. Go on,
Firstly,
and then we'll go.
set the expectation from the off.
To add.
Just let people know that what you do and how you do that in regards to getting feedback from them at different stages. And I would do that in a really humble and honest way and just go, listen, look at probably the amount of times that you put yourself off from buy-in and all of that and the changes that you're going to make, yada, yada, yada. So I'd set the expectation from the off that this is the norm and something that you do quite frequently. Personally, like sending them a form is great, but I would definitely use that as an opportunity also to kind of interview them and then clip parts of that to be able to get that feedback and share it, because ultimately that's what you're doing, isn't it? You're getting the testimonials for two things: reviews and marketing. It's a review and marketing, isn't it? So I would definitely try your best to, once they've done that, get them on a Zoom or something like that and then clip part of that, because I think that tells the story better. So I don't think you're going far wrong with sending questions over and all of that type of stuff. But when it comes to doing your monthly reviews, it might be worth then going through it and getting the actual feedback, or just videoing them after a session and so on, because I think that lands better coming straight from the client's mouth, especially if they've been able to go into depths on their progress and their success in the form. So yeah, the only thing that I would add to that is what I've just said, kind of put it on a video and clip it and all of that type of stuff. Anything else that I would add to that to get honest feedback? No, I think that's sound. Anything you'd add, Nick?
No.
The only thing that I would just add to it actually is make sure it tells a bit of a story, the questions that you ask. So like, what made you think about getting a coach? What potentially was the reasons you put it off in the past? What were the reasons that you joined me and come in that way? How would you describe what happened in the first 4 weeks? What things got in the way of your progress naturally throughout the way that frustrated you? How did we work together to overcome it? What did we get to get you the results? So I would kind of ask you questions in a way that it tells a bit of a story of kind of the well before you, at the beginning, the middle, and where you're at right now. All right, sound. Next one. I don't know how to word this, so it might not make sense. But if you want to have SGPT sessions over the week that are flexible for people to book into, how would you set the programming up so that people can book into different days if you want to have people do 3 days per week? Go on, Nick. I'll let you have it. I'll let you have that because I know you'll like it.
I would be future pacing the programming, first of all. So I would be setting the program up in blocks. I would be presenting each block and explaining what the overarching objective is, what it's working towards, and then also set it up so they understand how many sessions in the week are within that block and what those sessions are. So you might have an A, B, C, day 1, 2, 3, for example, and you're giving context and explaining when those are and why they are. I think that setup can very much have a really good effect if you're running a flexible SGPT booking system. To caveat that, though, I would say having flexibility within that booking system, I think, should be kind of once you're at a level of capacity with SGPT and when you've grown it. I don't think particularly it works well at the beginning when you are growing it. So I just kind of throw that in there. So you just need to be very open and communicate really effectively into regards to what the programming is, when's it going to start, what the days are for, so people understand. And I think it genuinely is. I know it's quite a simple answer, but it is genuinely quite a simple process to go through. So yeah, I'd approach it in that way. Next, how are you supposed to know how much time you spent on, off, or in your business when tasks often take longer or less time than expected? Everything generally gets done, but timings often deviate from what's in my schedule. Sky.
How are you supposed to know how much time you spent on and off your business? I think you just have to review that every week. Like the start of the week, I very much will look at what's on my to-do list, because granted, there's going to be maybe a couple of extra things or different things than there was last week. Then from that, I'm putting that into my calendar, like what's already fixed there. So what calls are already got fixed in, what meetings are already fixed in, when I'm usually doing client feedback and all the stuff that I'm already doing. And then anything extra can go in there. And then at the end of the week, I'm reviewing how long did those things actually take? Did I even get them done? Do I need to move them? So I think if you're reviewing it, it should be fairly consistent. If it's not, then maybe it's looking at, is the process that you're doing it in constantly changing? Is there actual consistency in, like, for example, in like content creation, do you have like mad spurts of creativity where you do like 7 at once and then the next week you've got nothing, so you're doing like 3 posts? Do you know, I think reviewing and planning is a big part of that, of knowing how much you're spending on that, and if it's genuinely taking more time or if you've just pissed about, because sometimes I know I've just pissed about and that's why it's taking longer. If everything's generally getting done, then I wouldn't stress about timings deviating unless it's taken away from certain things, and maybe you need to have a bit of a shuffle around of where you're putting stuff. Is it realistic to put it there? Do you need a break maybe more often in between that task and that task? But for me, it's in the planning and the reviewing, in that I can see if I'm getting the things that I need to do done, or if maybe I need to change my process slightly or change where I put stuff. I don't know if that's really answered his question. It's kind of a vague question. If everything's generally getting done, then it's okay that things kind of deviate from the schedule, as long as it's not taken away from stuff that needs to be done.
Cool. Well, you cut out for quite a bit of it, but it'll still be sound on the normal recording probably. The only thing I would add to that, and I don't know if you said it there, is just make sure that you audit stuff, right? So like, say for argument's sake, I'll give you an example of this. 10 till 11 today, I was finishing the check-in feedback that I didn't get done yesterday. And I always do that. And today I only had 2 left. And then my aim was to try and create a post, 2 posts that I was just going to say into camera. And then I started replying to people who had asked stuff in the Accelerator and all of that. So that deviates me away, and I've still got to record them 2 reels, if that makes sense. So my point being is if you start to audit stuff and just start to write it down, a lot of the time you'll start to have trends in the fact that actually them messages have took me away from that, and now that's been pushed back. What do I need to do with them messages going forward? Can I put them at a different time of day? So if you start to audit and write shit down, and I know it's not natural, and I know it's not kind of a normal process to go through, but for the best part of a week to 2 weeks, if you wrote it all down, you'll probably see just trends. And then off the back of it, you'll be able to start to go, okay, on, off, in is a little bit more realistic. But what I'd also say is that there's always going to be a little bit of flexibility and nuance in it. Like You're running a self-employed business, and actually you're probably doing more than you think you are in a lot of cases. But that depends who it is. You know what I'm saying? Next question, please.
Are there any particular methods I could use to help those that think they need a coach in person to be persuaded to go online instead? Is there any particular service I can set up for things I can say to make them feel reassured that this could be their way forward instead of face-to-face?
I would really dig deep on the goal, right? So what that might look like is go, right, let me be clear. So these are the outcomes that you want, okay? These are the results that you're looking for. And then I would be digging deep into, from your perspective, what do you specifically feel like you need to in order to get them results? What's going to create them results more so? We've gone through what you've tried in the past and all of that. And I would dig into that quite a bit to get them to go, right, I need to be more active away from the desk, for argument's sake. I need this nutrition support. I need the accountability and all of that. And then I'll be digging into them things, okay, what this looks like. And you kind of collaboratively build this service that in some cases that they haven't mentioned the sessions, right? And I know that's just in some cases, but I would personally lead them towards starting to tell you what the service looks like. And I guarantee in most cases, and whenever I've done this, most of them go, yes, I need to be in the gym. And we'll laser focus on that and go, okay, how many sessions a week do you feel can fit within the schedule? And where are they? And what if they don't happen? Let's create them substitute sessions or whatever. And now you've kind of built this and you've not really mentioned PT within that. Now you're not leading them to somewhere that they don't want to go. You're kind of going, okay, that's the bigger picture. And ultimately, and this comes back down to, and this is why I've added context first, if you just don't offer PT, right, it's tough then, isn't it? So you've kind of got to sit there and go, okay, that's the service that we've built out and this is what you get. And if you said that you might need this support and this support with the technical, I don't know, proficiency of using a barbell or a dumbbell or whatever, then maybe you do one session at the most. But if you're just selling online coaching, you've got to get to a point where you draw a line and go, okay, I don't deliver this anymore, but what I will make sure is that everything that we've just discussed, that what you need is what you get. So you don't necessarily rely on the PT session alone. So that's the route that I would personally use. I really dig into the outcome, really dig into what they feel like they need. I dig into their responses off the back of the frequency of training, how many times they need to get to the gym. I dig into questions around self-sufficiency and self-accountability. I dig into that quite a bit. So what they've got there is a picture of a service that doesn't rely on you standing in there and coaching them. But yeah, like ultimately that's the way I would lead them towards. But there's got to be a point is if you're not offering in person anymore, you've got to go, I'm not offering that. And if they want to come in, then they will. If the service has been built out that they believe in, they've got to look at it and go, I believe I can achieve that off the back of what you've just laid out. So it's more so of a belief that you've got to instill in them off the back of the service that you built together. Anything you would add to that, Nick?
The only point I would add is if you're sitting there thinking no one will buy online coaching, everyone keeps asking me for in-person coaching, it's probably because as well you're not marketing effectively on the front end. I think that's a big one, especially if you're in a gym, and you've got face-to-face clients right now. If you're not marketing effectively, then don't be surprised if people are coming up to you asking for face-to-face coaching, and then you're going, "Oh, do you want to do online?" They say no. Like that's just going to happen unless you market effectively your online program. But apart from that, no.
Last question of the day. It's not actually a question; it's just kind of a statement, isn't it? But I can see it.
It's not a question. It's just a statement.
Well, someone ask it then. Create a question from it.
It's your question.
Oh, is it? Advice on building a team for a small business studio. I'm going to go Sky first. Then I'm going to go Nick. What advice would you give from your experience at Grip?
I think you want to find someone that is really, really bought into your vision, your method, your community, rather than trying to worry about someone that is, a really technical, proficient coach. That's why a lot of people that build out coaching teams tend to pull from either people that they've worked with as clients, or people that they just know share their values. I think sometimes it's really easy to try and think, well, this person needs to be as good a coach as me, or they need to be really confident with this thing. Well, you can teach them that, you can teach them skills. You can get them to share your values if they don't share your values. You can't get them to be bought into your community if they're not already seeing that vision and experience it themselves. So if there's people within your community that you can pull upon and gauge their interests, or people that have shown that they are willing and they want to be a part of it, then definitely go for that. And but if not, if you're looking externally, then again, it's really seeing that someone does have your same ethos and values rather than someone that just loves training. And also kind of trying to figure out what their aspirations are, because some people will just want to be a part of something else. They won't want their own studio or their own gym. So if you're looking for someone that's in it long term, then really figuring out like what their long term vision is and how you can feed into that. So yeah, I think just from experience, coming from within your community is really great if you have the opportunity to do that and to give someone that step up if they want it. Otherwise, it's just trying to find someone that, you know, shares the same kind of ethos and values as you and putting that out there. And that means that you need to be really clear about what your vision, values, and ethos is for your studio. That's where I'd
Nick,
start.
anything you would add?
Nick?
Didn't hear what you said.
I got most vision.
I just shouted
Vision,
Nick.
inside
Just
community,
said Nick.
values, align with mission, all of that type of stuff. I think that's super important that most people overlook. It comes back to that capacity question before, doesn't it? In regards to standards and going, what are the clear standards that I expect from myself, and therefore I need to kind of lead my staff with that. But go on, Nick. Anything you would add?
Only thing I'd add is that don't get team members in to cover. Get team members in to grow the business and the culture. Otherwise, if you want to make money and get cover, to get PTs in to rent the gym. You will. So I think, in a nutshell, get really, really clear on the vision of what the future of the business is, the culture of the gym you want, the programming. Wait to bring people in that are going to match that, versus getting people in to cover classes or cover sessions, because that will never ever be a long-term solution, and it will end up in more headaches. First thing is getting really, 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 really clear with those things, and then factoring those in to things like, you know, your P&L, your costs, etc. Too many people grab any PT or any coach to cover, and then it just doesn't work out, and it causes a really horrible cycle. So yeah, that's one thing I'd add. So I'm not sure if you said. Cool.
I don't even know what I said. Sound?
Any final thoughts, Anthony Park?
No, I just hope everyone who may have got this far has a great day and a great week, and then we'll see you next week.